Good afternoon, I'm Justine Reichman and welcome to Essential Ingredients. Today with me is Jennifer Maxwell, CEO and founder of JAMBAR. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi, Justine. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for joining me. I'm excited to have this conversation and have you here on the EI.
Nice.
Wonderful. So
Excited.
great to chat with you and great to introduce you to the EI and have you here to share a little bit about JAMBAR and about your journey.
Nice. Okay.
Wonderful. So maybe we can just, sort of jump in and have you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about JAMBAR, and then we'll get further into the conversation and just go from there.
Okay. Well, thanks, Justine. So, little background on me. Yes, I'm Jennifer Maxwell, and I am the co-creator of Power Bar with my late husband Brian, which spans back 35 years. So I've been in the energy bar industry for a really long time. Brian and I founded Power Bar in 1985, and we sold the company in 2000. I raised my 6 children, and then in 2015, decided to get back into a mission of creating another energy bar. So that's kind of the time frame of what we're talking about with JAMBAR. And I think that the impetus was really, I was sitting in the kitchen with my daughter Julia, and she says, "Hey, Mom, there's no super high quality, like all organic, super high quality energy bar." And I'm like, yeah, I think that I could create something. And so I kind of tinkered in the kitchen for a little bit, like, back in the old days, in the 80s, almost the same thing, except we weren't creating a category. I was having a new entrance into the category. So, the playing field was different, right? So I had a lot of time. I worked on the formulation for JAMBAR for 4.5 years to make sure that I had a product I'm really happy with and that I think everyone else will be happy with and there's a market for. And again, you had to find something that differentiated it, right? And really what differentiates JAMBAR, the product, is the quality of the ingredients, being all organic and no expense is spared with our ingredients. It's not about trying to just create something to, just be in the category. It's really to differentiate it into a premium, very, very premium product. And, the sweeteners I use we call them authentic sweeteners, which is maple syrup and grape and honey and date. So all real food ingredients. It's grain-based, gluten-free, working with new proteins like sunflower protein and no added fats or oils. We use nut butters and super high quality premium chocolate, and the chocolate from Guittard out of San Francisco. And we like to know our suppliers. We like to know where the ingredients are coming from. And we have some family-based companies that are supplying us with ingredients. And it's very hands-on. I'd say everything I've done is super hands-on with the goal of trying to create a really innovative, high-quality, healthy product.
So there's so many things I want to dig into here. I mean, I want to go back to the beginning when in 1985 you were building an energy bar, because to me that was very forward thinking. In 1985, building an energy bar was really forward thinking.
Yeah, you're right. So it's retroactively, yeah, we were forward thinking then, Brian and I, or still forward. I'm still forward thinking now. But to create a category, the energy bar category, to create it, really came out of a personal need that Brian and I had as athletes. Brian was an Olympic marathon runner. At the time, remember, there were no energy bars. People really didn't eat before they would go run a marathon or do a 2-hour training run or even Tour de France, which was kind of our first group of highly competitive athletes. All the riders were eating sandwiches and they're falling out the back of their pocket onto the course. So, having an energy bar, something that it was easily transported and easily assimilated, digested. Again, we didn't use hydrogenated oils, which was kind of a key thing back in the 80s. And, that really created the market. And then, of course, there's been a lot of energy bars since then, dozens and dozens, if not more than 100. A little bit of different spin on each one. The market's really evolved and created little niches within itself. But I think JAMBAR, again, is still forward thinking in that it's all about quality, right? So the market's been established for quite some time now, right? established 35 years. That's a long time. But to get something that this high quality, I think has not been done. And it's organic, so.
Well, to add to that, I mean, even now when I go and I look at these bars and people, I'm with a friend and I get a little hungry because if I don't eat, I get really agitated and frustrated. I'm sure I'm not the only one in the world, but I don't keep 12 things in my bag, which I probably should. But, you know, all my friends with kids have, you know, they're whipping out their bars in their bags, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always looking at all the ingredients and they either have nuts or sugar or something that doesn't make me feel good. And the challenge is that they're all claiming to be hungry. They're all claiming to be hungry. They're all claiming to be healthy, and they are probably healthy, but healthy not for me. And so what I found unique about yours was they didn't have those processed sugars, or there was an option for somebody that may not eat nuts.
That's right.
And a lot of these bars are packed with almonds and all these different kinds of nuts that a lot of people can't eat. And a lot of sugars that people can't process. So your bar equally takes this category to a new level, because these healthy bars that many people use for protein, and the nuts are a large part of those proteins, right? You now take that bar and you pack it with protein, because it is packed with protein in a healthy way that I can now digest.
Nice.
And a lot of other people can. So, you know, I'd love to just hear, I mean, you did that intentionally.
I did. That's very, very, really good analysis of actually where I was coming from intellectually and from a food scientific background. I'm a food scientist. That's my background. And I love to cook and love to create. But you're absolutely right, because I looked at protein, which, you know, is a really beneficial macronutrient that most active people like to get enough of it. It sustains you and controls your hunger, so you don't have the spikes of blood sugar. This is very important. And I want to provide different types of protein within JAMBAR. So I have 2 that are vegan, and that's from this innovative sunflower protein I mentioned, as well as my grains. And I have quinoa, sorghum, brown rice, and believe it or not, oat bran is a pretty good source of protein. So there's a lot of different protein sources within JAMBAR. And then I have 2 that are using a very high quality whey protein. So you can, you know, have the traditional whey protein as well. So that, you know, I wanted to create kind of a diversity platform, you know, for lack of a better term, in terms of what people might want when they're looking at a bar, right? So I have a chocolate, which is, you know, very high quality, really pretty rich chocolate. And I have the malt nut, which goes back to the early days of Power Bar, which is a combination of sesame, malt, and vanilla, and tahini, or I said the tahini and peanut butter. It's got a peanut butter in it. But then I have some that don't have the nuts. I have the berry and the mango, which is a really new flavor that a lot of people get excited about. So I was really trying to have something for everybody.
I think you achieved that. And I think you also reached it by really creating a power-packed, protein-packed bar that addresses a lot of the new allergens that people are challenged with. So I think you've reached a category too for these protein bars. And you've really touched on a lot of the issues that people are facing today. So for me, who's never been able to buy a bar before that hasn't made me feel not good, I now have access to a bar.
Thanks. And I think you touched on something that was really important. And one of my main focuses was not using the brown rice syrup and tapioca syrup. And it's not that it's particularly, you know, bad or good. I just wanted to use something that's more natural. So personally, from my own nutritional emphasis, I like to eat things that are close to nature as possible, so less processed and more inherent in nature, which maple syrup is, and the grape that we use, 100% grapes, and the date concentrate, and the honey. So they're all unprocessed, more minimally processed, more natural, inherently authentic sweeteners rather than using a manufactured syrup. And that was super important to me. So you taste the difference, you know, they taste super good. And of course, it's a very expensive way to go. So,
well, that was my next question is, you know, these bars, and these bars are often very expensive, and you want to make them accessible. You want to make them so that people can afford to buy them, because often these bars can be very expensive. So I heard you say that, you know, some of the ingredients are organic, and now you have high quality ingredients. So how do you, as a small business, create a product that is good quality, organic, and accessible and affordable?
Absolutely, Justine. That's so important because I price JAMBAR right in the middle of the market. You know, it's not overpriced. It's a very good value, and that was super important to me because I want this 100% organic nutrition of this quality to be available to everybody. You know, and really how we do that is we make it ourselves. So I embarked on the mission of creating my own factory, and I don't think I could do this if I co-packed it because, you know, I got to be in charge of the process, right? I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to do. And so I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. And so I embarked on this mission of creating a factory, which we did. We're here in Marin County. And also just keeping things pretty lean, you know, making sure that I'm not wasting money, making sure that I'm figuring out the best efficiencies in personnel and in a manufacturing process, and really being careful with our numbers, and you know, taking it from there. And just, you know, also we intend to stay pretty small. You know, we want to do what we do super well, and sometimes when a company gets bigger, some of that can be really challenging to do what you do super well and just focus on what you do and provide it to your customer base. And that's what we intend to do.
Essential Ingredients is powered by Next Gen Chef. Next Gen Chef is a movement that supports food and beverage entrepreneurs around the world by fostering a sense of community and providing its members access to mentors and a wealth of resources and guidance. Next Gen Chef feeds members with the knowledge they need to build better for you food and beverage businesses so the world can have greater access to healthier food, comprehensive food education, and increased affordability. If you like what you hear on this podcast, continue the conversation or ask new questions on the Next Gen Chef app, available in the Apple Store and Google Play. Follow Next Gen Chef on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook at Next Gen Chef. Join Next Gen Chef and let's change the future of the food industry together.
So with that said, you know, you're a small business, you're a family business. Did you, I don't know if you're self-funded or you had to raise money, but do you feel like that plays has an effect in how you're able to produce the way you are producing?
I think, well, everyone has to figure out their funding, right? Each situation is different, whether you have a group of investors or you're self-funded, or other structure you have. You have to kind of play within your means, right? So don't get over leveraged in terms of taking on a lot of debt that then impacts decisions that you might make down the road. That was really important to me in terms of really making sure that we know what our numbers are going to say, right?
Right.
Things will tie up at the end of the day, and you know where we need to be careful.
Right. And many times, though, I know that when people take money, they lose some control over what they can do and how they produce. So I guess my question to you is, based on your circumstances, do you have more or less control based on how you've decided to build your business?
Yeah, I mean, I am fortunate enough to have the amount of control that I have.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not leaning on someone else to make these decisions for me.
Right.
And
Okay.
JAMBAR was really a manifestation of my passion of giving back to the community in a big way. And I give back not only by creating this company, creating this product, but our mission is to give back 50% of our proceeds.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so obviously this is not about Jennifer making more money. No, this is about doing a lot of good. And I just want to support active living. I think that being active and physically fit, you know, supporting athletes, supporting all kinds of activities. It doesn't have to be hardcore competitive. Just living an active life is so important for overall health and overall productivity for people. And then music is my passion. I've been a musician for 15 years. And so, you know, I want to tie in. Of course, the name kind of ties in, JAMBAR. That is where a lot of the tie-in with music. But we have already collaborations with a lot of musicians and organizations that support music in the community. So we're super excited about that.
That is exciting. And so now you have JAMBAR, and are you expecting to, in the coming years, expand what you have there, or? Are you planning to grow?
Well, probably too early to tell because we're just now launching. You know, we've got 4 flavors. I would say that I love to create, so new flavors are definitely in the pipeline. Even seasonal flavors can be super fun. Keep it fresh. You know, look at new ingredients that are out on the market. I love working with food suppliers, ingredient suppliers. That's really my bailiwick.
Right.
And in terms of branching out of energy bars, probably not. I mean, we've got a lot of work to do and a lot of accounts to open, customers to share our product with. So,
Where would people find JAMBAR right now?
well, we have a website, jambar.com. Cool website, I have to say. And you can order directly on the website. And in fact, we have a wholesale component. So any stores that want to carry JAMBAR can go on the wholesale part of the website and get approved as an account. And then we do have distribution starting really about next week.
That's exciting.
Stores in Marin County for the most part. It's going to take some time. You know, it's not the best time of year to launch, you know, going into the holidays, but we're doing it, and we'll have about 20 or 30 accounts just in the Bay Area right now. Health food stores, high-end health food stores, some small, smaller mom and pop kind of grocery store, that kind of thing, and then bike shops, running stores, and some music stores.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
So just to you know, sort of share this timeline. So you got in the kitchen in what year was it? Just 2000?
It was about 2016.
Okay, and you were in the kitchen for how long now?
I
Jamming?
was in the kitchen just putting stuff and, you know, working with different ingredients for, well, over 4 years.
Okay.
3.5, about 3 years. I said, okay, here, do this, let it, you know, let this product age, see what it does, look at the texture, look at my nutritional components. Do I like this or I like that? Maybe I want to make it more crunchy or more smooth and more hard or more soft, right? All these different, you know, textural kind of things and taste things, different ingredients I'm using. Took about 3.5 to get where I was really certain, and then to perfect it was another 1.5 to 2 years after that.
And when did you know you had perfected it?
About 2 years ago.
What was that moment?
It's a good question. I guess, you know, I've been sharing it with my kids, of course, a couple friends, not too much though. I've been keeping it pretty close to the chest. I think when I saw the consistency that I wanted, you know, I saw this consistency, this super good texture and taste that was not going to waver, and I knew that I could produce it on in a reliable way in terms of making sure I can secure my ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, doing the nutritionals, I would sub that to a lab, making sure my nutritionals were consistent, and the shelf life was great. Yeah, so it's been about 2 years now, and then the last 2 years has really been spent building the factory.
Okay.
Right?
And so what made you decide? You decided you wanted a factory because you wanted to be there. You wanted to spearhead that and be part of it as the scientist that you are, the food scientist that you are, be able to take that ownership of it.
Yeah, and I want to create a little business, right? So I want to create some jobs, be able to just have a little bit of control of my destiny, right? You know, it's like, these are the people you need to hire, these people you know that can help you to your mission. This is how you're going to give back to the community, and you're going to make this product, and, you know, just staying really, really focused on what we wanted to accomplish. You know, we started getting equipment just before COVID, so we were able to still make progress actually because we've ordered most of the equipment already. Thank goodness.
Well, thank God, yeah, because with the supply chain the way it is, and how it has been during COVID, it really would have been quite delayed. So what would you say to other founders that are watching or listening to this podcast as they're building their startups and developing their products?
Yeah, I mean, I think back, like, what are some key elements that really kept me driving forward? And I would say every day I want to accomplish something, right? Some days are more productive than others, but every day just a little bit of forward momentum was super important in some aspect of what I was trying to do, and just stay super focused. Build a group of people around you that you can trust. Very important. You can't do everything yourself, right? So you've got to have good people that you trust around you that know your mission and understand your mission, and can actually, for me, and I think for most successful people, it's having a buy-in with those people around you and having them benefit from your mission, right? So you're really creating as a type of company or organization where people feel a bit of ownership, or people feel a real high motivation to come to work every day and give it their best.
And would you say that your experience at PowerBar and all your learnings there have really positioned you in a really good place to be able to take JAMBAR?
Yeah. I mean, I learned a lot. I was super young when we did PowerBar, right? I was just out of college.
Right. Yeah, I think I thought you were in college, but
well, when Brian and I were doing the formulation, I was still in college. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we got married, and there were so many things, you know. We got married, and then PowerBar took off, and we also had 6 children. So,
I think I could still see the labels from PowerBar.
Yeah.
They're forever imprinted in my brain.
Yeah. Brian did the logo.
I have JAMBAR imprinted in my brain.
Yeah. I mean, Brian did the logo of PowerBar. I did the logo of JAMBAR. And that's another important point. I do feel Brian's presence cheering me on, looking from above. I mean, he has definitely cheered me on. There's no doubt about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I am so excited for you. I can't wait to go into Whole Foods and Sprouts and Good Earth and all the different stores and see JAMBAR everywhere. For those of you that have not gone onto their website, it's a fun website. It really is it's a fun website when you go on. It looks very fun and cheery, and it's jambar.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
Jambar.com. So
thank you. Yeah, our big intention was to be positive. It's all about positivity and keeping it fun. Yep, that's what it's about.
Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me today on Essential Ingredients. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you guys for joining us. We're here every Tuesday, and we will see you here again next week.
All right.
And
thank you.
Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
To find out more about this episode of Essential Ingredients and access show notes, check out Next Gen Chef and choose podcast in the menu bar. If you like this episode, head to iTunes or Next Gen Chef's YouTube channel to subscribe. Learn more about Next Gen Chef, the platform that powers this podcast, by checking out our website, or visit us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Next Gen Chef. You can also check out my Instagram at Justine_Reichman. If you have thoughts about this episode or future episode ideas, leave us a comment at Next Gen Chef's YouTube channel or drop an email at team@nextgenchef.com. Thanks for joining us.